Hi guys, this is a brief live, very brief. So I wanted to talk to you guys really quick, kind of where I'm coming from and what's going on. So very briefly, I just want to make an announcement for everyone. Monday is my day off. It's God's day of rest. It's my Sabbath. See, I understand that on the weekends, if you guys are working, you may not have time to talk as freely. And so on the weekends, then I make myself available. So what does that look like? I would like to describe a day in the life of Cindy so you can understand what exactly that looks like. All right. So yesterday, let's start on the weekend. Saturday. Okay. Starting at 4 a.m. And until 4 a.m., I took calls. On Sunday, I was near unconscious because I finally took some sleep after not sleeping for weeks at a time. Then I would take a break in the middle of the week. Otherwise, if someone needs something at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm available. If someone needs something at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm available. My morning, because for them it might only be 2 o'clock in the afternoon, because we're global, right? So I say this because I am available to you guys 24/7 with one exception. Monday's my day. Monday's my day to work with Chase and say, how's your program going? What can I help you with? Monday is my day where I'm gonna, randomly come up with a way to figure out how to read auras and come up with a program and then decide how to sell it. What do we do? Does someone want to know what it is? It's really helpful information. But these ideas in which I can teach a whole group of people, I can't do during the week when I'm available 24/7 to whoever needs me at the time. Okay? So that's what I want to say to you guys. It has nothing to do with ignoring anyone, with not wanting to be there, with not loving you, with not, just in general, just understand that today is the only day that I rest. And then Tuesday through Sunday, I am at your call. I work for you guys. You're my boss. Yes? Okay? But that's the one hard and fast rule that I'm talking, that I'm going to stick to. I need it. I don't think you guys realize, but all last week I was actually losing my voice because I never stopped talking to whoever needs to hear me. Losing my voice. It was even cracking at the middle of something I would say. I would go too high pitch and it would crack. Okay? Not because I'm sick, but because all I do is talk to whoever needs to hear whatever they need to hear. What do I need to be? What do I need to be? Where do I need to go? Okay? So I want you guys to know that Monday's my day. Monday's my day to create stuff. Monday's my day to be able to work on a big idea that someone had that I think is great, so I'm going to go partner with them. All right? And so I just want to remind you of that. Okay? It's just the one and only hard, fast rule that I'm going to stick to. And I thought about it, because I really love what I do. I really do love doing this. I love being on one-on-one coaching sessions. I love teaching in front of a class. I love everything about this. So it has nothing to do with not wanting to be there for you all. It has more to do with recognizing that even God said we need a Sabbath. Even God said that. You need one day of rest. You make the whole universe and you need one day of rest. So that's what this is, you guys. That's what this is. If you have any questions, if you need anything, if you want to schedule some time with me, I am totally 100% yours any other day except this one. Because Did you guys notice how many of you were interested in knowing what your color and your aura and your personality actually meant? I had no idea. This is something I've been able to do since the 90s. I haven't even practiced it. Had no idea somebody wanted to know this. But because I sat in quiet, I heard the collective inside me. And the woman whose idea it was, I went directly to her and I said, do you think this would be a good idea? She's like, yes, we want. Yes. And she said, I literally just thought this. I was making my own logo and I was thinking, I really want to understand my colors. So in that moment, I was doing exactly what I'm supposed to do and serve my maker. All right? And today at 5 o'clock, we're going to do a test run and see if I can see her with my blindfold on. Okay? So I want you guys just understand that. 24/7, I am yours, but today is my day. Today is my day of rest. Today is my day of being still and listening to what you guys are praying about. Today is my day of let me figure out ways to answer all of you at once, since I'm having trouble now being global. And let me describe just how much I'm doing behind the scenes, okay? I'm so connected to someone that I work with right now that she just talks to me in her head, goes to sleep, and I appear in her dreams and we talk that way. Because she knows I can't be with her right now because I might be on a call in the Netherlands, or I might be in a call in Australia, or it might be a 2 a.m. emergency for someone in deep, dire need for whatever reason, right? And yet we still talk. And then now what we're doing is really, really funny, because I talk to her as if she remembers the conversation I had, and she talks to me like she remembers the conversation she had with me. Do you get where I'm going with this? And all of it was a big deja vu that we did in our dreams now. So even when I appear not to be there, I am. Okay? Josiah, he brought me these books, and he said, Cindy, I think it was Carrie and Josiah, I'm not sure, they both said, Cindy, you're describing the other side, the way this guy who scientifically documented all of the light and, all of his astral travels like a scientist. This is amazing. You actually sound like him. And I was like, I do? I've never even read the books. But it was my confirmation. Yeah, I'm on the other side. I know what it looks like on the other side of the veil. The reason it is so easy for me to connect is I am no longer on this material plane in the same fashion that everybody else thinks that they are. And it's like, once you figure it out, you get it. That we're not in this world in the same way. We're in it, right? That's not of it anymore. When we used to be of it, it was totally different because we were in the shadows, not knowing we were the light. So we lived a half life, a human life, with no clue as to how big we actually were. That's part of the process. Once you figure it out, there's no going back. And yeah, you see through walls, literally. Or you see across space and time so deep that you can see what someone is doing in Australia without actually being in Australia. Those are our powers, you guys. It's everybody's power. I'm not even special. I'm not special at all in that sense. Is that I basically am just telling everybody, hey, look what I found in the constant. Everybody can do this. Oh my God. And then I share. All right, you guys. So this was just a brief announcement, just a little reminder. I love, love, love everyone 100%. It has nothing to do with not wanting to be there for you all, but I also need time to replenish. I need to replenish because as the light that is upholding everything it sees in its universe. And this is true of everyone. If you don't take time to feed your light, if you don't take time to self-care, if you don't realize that without you nothing exists, so you must be first and then everything else occurs later, then find that balance. Find that balance. Okay? Last night, my day ended at 2:22 in the morning. And I loved every minute of it. So this is not a complaint. It's not a complaint. Because in that 2:22 in the morning phone call I had, it was just to hear that even when you're not there, Sin, you're appearing in my dreams now. We're forever connected. Like, my life just continues to get better and better and better and better. And all I have to do is be true to myself. And then you legitimately learn how to love every single experience. You no longer get mad at what happened to you because, hello, you created it so you can understand yourself. How long we spent in the shadows, enslaved to our belief system, is up to us. Because if we don't recognize that there is no outside power, that we have been the whole time the one animating things, trying to understand universal experience to understand our place in the universe, then we're in for a long haul, which is perfectly okay. But I think right now we're over that and we're ready. We're ready. We're so over being inside a 3D box. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if anyone feels trapped inside a 3D box, you guys, I can literally see you banging at invisible walls trying to get out. Literally in this battle with your shadow, back and forth you go. Just back, forth like a caged animal. I want out. But the only way out is to love your whole self. This means all of your experiences too. Even the most shitty ones. And that's going to be difficult for people to understand. But until they do. See, someone asked me this, So someone said this to me recently. And it was very important because I think she needs to hear this. Okay? She asked me, well, what if I want to leave all that stuff alone and I just want to move on? Then the way that you do that is by forgiving and accepting all of it as your creation and then move on. Without which, as long as you put people apart and separate and get mad at them for acting in your behavior as according to your will, consciously because you've always been the operant power, then the shadow is still bigger than the light in you. Okay? And so without that acceptance, what you do is you project a half light everywhere you go. The quality of your experience of your life is depending on how accepting and how loving you are to everything that has happened to you. Because the more you do that, the more you realize what you've made and how to separate the shadow from itself and how to live your best life. And so when people ask me, is it possible to have this dream? I only want this dream. I understand that there are billions of other dreams in the world, but this is the one I want. Is it possible to have that? The answer is yes. Do what I say. Stop arguing with me. And love yourself. Your whole self. And then everything that you've ever dreamed of becomes yours because it always was. It was the purpose of you being incarnated. Meaning that the only one preventing themselves from having their desire is standing on the other side, hating its experience and not allowing their whole life to be filled in. So now the shadow casts people out there when there are no people out there. I say this so much. There's nothing out there. There is you and your reflection. You are whole. You and the universe move as one. You are the universe. So there are no people out there. There is, however, a puzzle that you came to fix. A puzzle that looks like you and doesn't look like you, but is always you. And if you can't figure out that puzzle, then like a Rubik's Cube, you will remain looking at all the colors, having no idea what the hell you're staring at. But it's unnecessary if you realize you are all the colors at once. You're everything. As soon as you accept everything you are, you recognize your experience in every human being that crosses your path. You recognize every person as a messenger, as an angel, as someone who's standing there showing you what you are, what you've been, how it served you. It's never not you. Never. Even the man that hurt us the most is us. Even the parents that hurt us the most, us. I don't care who you say it is. President Trump, us. Us. COVID, us. All of it. Riots, us. You see, if you allow the outside world to dictate who you are, then you are looking at the world in reverse and backwards, and then allowing the world to make your life force smaller and the shadow bigger, and now who is its slave? However, what's fixed in an instant? If you remember, you are the light. You animate what is above, what is in your mind. Whatever you say in your mind is what you enter and you live below. So if your force of habit is to declare everything not good, then you enter not good everywhere you go. And it is so instant now that people have awoken to the fact that they don't like where they're living. It's like, I don't like this. I know this more. I don't know what it is. There's a stirring going on in every human being on earth right now. It's because you're supposed to love yourself. That was the whole purpose of this game. Once you do, once you accept everything that has ever happened to you, I swear on my life, whatever you want, it's yours. Okay? It's much easier than a ritual. It's much easier than a method. It's much easier than, I don't know, walking naked through the forest. Yes? You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do all that mess. You just have to love everything you are at once, and like a magic pill that you just swallowed. Switch. Switch. My best friend lives in Florida, and she had a situation in which a guy made her feel really, really bad, hurt her to her core. For a long time, she questioned herself, everything. But in that moment, she was so angry that she spoke ill will to her shadow. And she said, "You will come back to me on your knees and you will apologize, because from this point forward until you apologize, everything in your life will go wrong." And she said it with such feeling and such emotion, because in that moment, you guys have heard about the whole woman scorn thing, right? For the record, we really are the most dangerous creature on earth. Like, in case you weren't confused about that, wisdom is wisdom for good reason. She's the most dangerous creature on earth. Okay? But let me continue with this story. So she said that in her moment of pain, because someone had just used her and tossed her away, or in that feeling, right? So she was like, "That's completely unacceptable, Shadow. You watch." You know, of course she didn't know she was talking to a shadow. She was talking to a guy, right? You just see. Okay? And this guy proceeded to laugh at her. He laughed so hard. He just laughed at her and laughed in her face. Because here this guy has a master's degree. He's a football player. This was college. A football player. He's got his whole life ahead of him. All the opportunities are opening up. And he's in his power and in his element. And some woman just said he's going to pay for how he disregarded her heart. It took 3 years. 3 years. Now, don't let the time scare you. It took 3 years for that man to come crawling on his knees and begging her for forgiveness so that he could be freed from that curse. I'm laughing right now because she did that. She did it to herself, and he had to go through it, and they had to understand, and they had to play. But this is the side of God that most of you don't understand. There's a consequence to our actions, and when we hate on our shadow, even when it appears to be another person, I promise you, 10 times worse you will receive. So stop the trajectory. Stop the trajectory. Be kind. Always. There is nothing you are not. And remember the divine order. First here, then you go. First here, then you go. What you guys have been doing as human beings, and I say all of you because I did it too, I didn't know any better, was arrive at location, allow location to dictate how I am inside, and then, like Lot's wife, I just preserved a state that I did not want or wanted, but it was such a crapshoot because I had no idea that the whole time order of operations was in reverse. I needed to reverse the way I was seeing. I need to see in reverse in order to create my life properly. If I do not, it's a crapshoot. So when people say, you can't control circumstances, bull fucking shit. Bullshit. You control every circumstance, but you must remember the order of operations here first. No matter where you are standing in the nothing. I know it looks formed. I know it looks exactly as you thought it was. So it looks exactly like it was there before you even got there. Right? Because you unconsciously moved in your mind and you formed an idea, and so it must, by law, look exactly like you thought it would look like. So now you arrive at this point in your physical body. Remember, you made it here first. And it is just a giant deja vu that you have not recognized is the deja vu. And so you said, but it was there before I arrived. What do you mean? It was there before I arrived. I didn't choose that. Are you God or are you not God? Of course you chose your experience. There are no victims. But if you forget, then you lay in victim mode and everything happens to you. But the power has always, 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 always been yours. And so we can spend the rest of our lives in pain over what happened to us. We can do that. But we age. We stop caring about our bodies, stop caring about ourselves, stop caring about anything that has to do with us, and we wither away as we live in the shadow that we cast, not knowing that we have the power to make it better. Is it a life? Yes. Is it a valuable life? Yes. It added to the valuable experience of what not to do. Very valuable. Because now the next moment you have, you don't have to suffer like that. You have examples of things that, that you can actually learn from. But you are surrounded only by your experience. And every person literally is a gateway. So, for example, my father, he's forgiven. He's forgiven. Everything that ever happened to me, he's forgiven. I don't have a relationship with him where I can talk to him. Right? However, I have no animosity for the man. Zero. Because without him, Cindy couldn't remote view. Cindy couldn't astral travel. Cindy couldn't be standing here saying, hey, guess what's on the other side of the veil, you guys? You want to see this? Had it not been for him, do I hate him? Oh. In fact, the reason I can't hate him is because I know he's my past life. That was my past incarnation when I was really lost in that dark shit with all kinds of abilities and still wounded by what the circumstances that happened in my life. Okay? So I don't hate the man at all. He's just a shadow. He's just a shadow of who I am inside. He's a ghost in my machine, like everything else. Everything's a ghost. But I do love them. I do love them. So thanks to doing that, my father, I went through his portal. And I was allowed access to all of his experience because it became my experience because I'm not judging it as apart from me. And now I do it for a living. Everyone I meet is a portal for me. So this is the game that I want you guys to understand. If you guys get this, that there is never a moment that it is not you, and the sooner you make peace with everything you are, the sooner you realize that you are at the center of everything. Okay? Once you become the center of everything and you're at peace there, you're never knocked out of heaven again. You see behind the 3D material veil so clear that people write books for you and you just sit back and laugh, knowing that it's you. You know every single word on earth is your body. You can see across time and space because you're at the center of eternity, completely at peace with the perfection of God's plan for you. The whole reason you incarnated is now known. It's as if, because I'm trying to describe what actually happened to me so you guys can understand this, right? It's as if all the experiences you never understood in your life before, like they happened and you made peace with them, but you really didn't understand why me, why this, why that. You know, those moments suddenly make sense. Suddenly God just shines a light in the darkness and all of your experience is no longer dark. Your whole body becomes light. A light so powerful that it sees in all directions at once. I am not special. I'm talking about what happens when you take your place in eternity in peace and realize heaven on earth because of you, because everyone has a version of heaven on earth. It's why we're here. It is the bigger mission. Teach people how to make their own heaven, and then the whole multiverse lights up into what it's always been. The perfected state that you guys can't see because you're too busy looking in the wrong direction, calling the shadows things that you don't even like because you haven't understood what the shadow is or what it's for. You see, creation is an eternal process. God said, mankind, you can have whatever you want in my garden. It is occurring all the time. You get to name it. So now what has happened is you've looked upon a dead carcass and forgotten your ability to name it. It's still a dead carcass. It still needs to be animated. It still needs to be revived. It still needs... How you define it is what you see because you're the gatekeeper. That's how you have a multiverse. Like, I mean, I can describe everything to you, and I wish I could draw. It's driving me crazy. I can't draw. I need to say that I can just so that I can figure out how. But then I realized, no, I don't even have to do that. I just have to find people who can draw and then show them the vision. Then they'll draw it for me. You see? But in terms of seeing the biggest picture in the world that has ever existed in the whole universe, how do you turn the light, how do you turn the darkness into light? And how do you tell everybody that they have this ability? And how do you teach everyone how to make their own heaven? That's what I know how to do. Because of you. Because of you. Not because it's just me, but because I realize I don't exist without you. So I get to be this bridge between two worlds. God's world and the human world. Okay? And then I get to teach everybody how, if you know how to manipulate the light, you can make anything out of the shadows. And so when you see a riot, it doesn't have to be a crazy riot. Maybe you're just looking at it wrong. Maybe it's your soul desperately trying to escape from the way you're judging it. And if you understand that power, then you start applying that everywhere. It's not even difficult, you guys. This is the easiest thing we will ever do in our lives. Love ourselves. Trouble is, we haven't realized that loving ourselves means loving the entire universe at once. Because it's what we are. On 3D Earth, what you see below is your shadow. It's your shadow. It's your universal shadow made from the God light and your imaginary universal conception as one thing. Because we can't be divided, so we have to come up with an imaginary identity so we can experience our life on Earth. Otherwise, we can't have an experience because we would just be all things at once. So what you see out of your eyes is always you. Your imaginary conception with God power. And what you reject is still you. But when you can't reach them, because it sounds like we're on opposing views, don't engage with that. Leave them alone. It's okay. Instead of getting angry over what they showed you, you see them in a better light and you redeem your shadow and you keep it moving. Don't worry about when they catch up, because in case you haven't noticed, the shadow must follow the light. If we do it backwards, we're living our life in struggle. If the light knows it's the light, the shadow will follow. It cannot help it. It's like a moth to a flame. It will go where you go. You must know first you are the light. That is the purpose of sitting in the darkness. Not knowing who you are. How else will you discover? You have to love yourself? You have to be love in action? Oh. You mean it's that easy? Yes. It's that easy. As long as you're not looking through a dual frame. As long as you understand that the actual picture on the other side of the veil is your imaginary conception, God light, as one, and then the universe you see is the shadow you have cast because of your life experience. So then to see the veil would require you to love and make peace with your life experience. Then, like a puzzle piece that has never been apart, but now in your awareness just came closer to its light of understanding, sits in its place in eternity, and from this point of peace, You direct the whole universe that you see out of your eyes. This is the soil that you're going to till. This is your gold. It requires a huge amount of self-acceptance. It requires a huge amount of forgiveness. It requires understanding that you are not separate from anything. And that puzzle piece, once connected, now has God power. All the time, not just unconsciously. Okay? And God power is a pretty cool thing to have because God is all there is. Think about that. God is all there is. So once you realize you have God power, you have all there is. All right? So this talk even came out of nowhere. All I was going to say was I'm going to take Mondays off. But again, this is the design. This is how you stop struggling. It does require you to stop hating on everything that's ever happened to you. Because as the barrier, your hate prevents you from getting to the other side. It prevents you from getting onto the other side. It creates a material veil from which the things that you think you want are impossible until you say that they're not. I can't strive how important this is because there's nothing else. And as soon as you get that, you can look around at everything that you've ever, if you've worked at a large corporation, for example, you just realize, oh my God, I'm the large corporation. I just didn't identify with being that. So if you want to be a large corporation, you can be. If you see a famous person and they sound just like you, oh my God, that's me in there. And you can identify with their experience, and that becomes your experience. That's God's substance, recognizing itself in everything. And so now you're never ever jealous of what someone else has because they're actually showing you what's inside your vortex. Hello? Why would you be jealous of that? You're the source of it. Okay? But if you don't understand, then isn't God a jealous God? Someone who thinks, well, they have it and I don't? That's not necessary. Is it a lesson you got to learn? Yeah. You got to learn to love all of you at once. But the puzzle couldn't get any easier if you tried. Love yourself. Stop hating on your experience. For as long as you hate your experience, you will be locked out of your desired state, and it's going to suck. And it's going to get continually worse and 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 worse until you call mercy or you wish you were dead. Because you can't stand living with yourself anymore. I'm serious. So then the answer becomes stop hating, start loving, start recognizing that the only thing that in existence is love and you are it. And so once you do that, then you stop hating on yourself. And then guess what? The one thing that used to be impossible is no longer impossible. Nothing's impossible because the light tells the shadow what to do, not the other way around. Okay? You guys want to know what it's like to walk like Jesus or Krishna or Buddha on earth? Accept who you are first. Then everything is possible. If you hate on your experiences, you're in for a long haul. Can you do the work? Sure. You're going to go all the way around eternity just to come back to the same point of origin to discover who you are. In eternity, you are going to be born 1,000,000 times over and over and over and over and over and over again. So that's the hamster wheel you guys know as human beings, right? The karma, the past life, the future lives, of this, that life. Okay, in and out you go of consciousness, being everything on earth until you come back and realize, holy crap, it's all me. Everything is me. So how long you stay on that trajectory is going to be up to you and your self-acceptance. It's up to you. But when I say I've seen the other side of the veil, I know how it works, and I know how to get you into heaven, and I know how I am so serious. I sound insane to people. People might even get mad at me because they don't understand what the hell I'm talking about. But the ones that do, you guys know what I'm talking about, and that's why you resonate with me. Because I'm not lying. This is the other side. I literally just use my body for a megaphone. Half the time I'm not in it. I leave it on autopilot and I go visit someone in a dream. Okay? So please, please remember this, you guys. Okay? That being said, any other day but Monday, I am yours. But other than that, Mondays I would like to keep for myself so that I can plan these things, so I can share ideas, because I think that a lot of us are on the same trajectory. And so it's a lot more efficient to work with everybody than it is to at once than it is to just do one person and repeat myself 20 times in 20 different conversations. We're all having the same conversation, right? All right. So I love you. Think about what I'm saying to you, and remember how important it is to make peace with your identity, to accept it, to realize you're the gatekeeper, and to find your place in eternity. Because once you do, you know, people like Josiah, people like Jennifer Ramdale, people like Candace Thoth, I'm not sure I said her name or last name right, but I know it's Candace. People like me, people like Oprah, people like Stuart Wilde and Wayne Dyer. Those are people that have simply found their place in eternity and are now in full acceptance of who they are. True of everyone. And we come from all different backgrounds. I can't say I was raised in a pretty suburban home with all the fixings and all this wonderful stuff to make me who I am. No. Not even close. I'm just like you guys. I went through the universal experience to be able to say it's not special to anyone. Everyone is special. Everyone is so unique. You were told this from the beginning. You were told in the garden, you can eat whatever you want, meaning you can become anything. Go ahead, have fun. It's all perfect. The only thing you were told is do not judge it, or that's how you live. You just dropped out of the garden. So what I'm asking you, my final message is, stop judging your experience and find a way to love it. Find a way to love it. Please. Because every dream you've ever had, I swear to you, it's on the other side. You can even see the future 10 years, 3 years, 4 years in advance. You can bring it down. It doesn't have to remain 3 years in advance. You can say, I want this now. And you get it now. Why? Because you command eternity. Hello? You can have whatever you want in the field. But until you know that you are eternity, this is going to feel like an uphill struggle. And so the only place to find peace in the middle of eternity, to really exist in heaven on earth, requires your acceptance and your love at all times. And anytime you forget, you can fall out of heaven and you can go live on earth as you believe until you're ready to stop that nonsense. You know? Or you can live on heaven on earth, where you know you are everywhere at once and you animate everything from underneath the veil, so that literally, you walk, you read everyone's mind in the field, you smile, you see better for them before they even utter a word. Yeah. Precog. precog in the wheel. Because as the beginning and the end, you get to decide what those two things look like. It's very, very powerful. And it's also the truth of everyone. Remember this, you guys. Remember this, you guys. Please. That's all I'm going to see. All I'm ever going to teach. Remember how to find your center. That's the source of all your power. It's the source of all your power. I can describe how your heart actually destroys the field and destroys the projection based on your emotions, because your emotions are your GPS system. So I can even describe what's happening when the illusion starts to distort and matter starts to form itself into your ideal and not God's ideal. I can even see that happening like this. Okay? And for you in 3D matter, you're not going to see it happening. You're just going to be stuck there at first, and you're going to be wondering how to get out. And it's almost as if you go through these potential planes all the time, but you have no idea that you're doing it. I see it real time. I see it real time because I'm not existing in the shadow anymore. This is true of everyone. This is true of everyone. So if you know that, why not accept who you are? That's the question, you guys. Why not? If your hatred of an experience is the only thing keeping your desired state from you, why do it? Okay? That's what I want you to ask, and I want you to ponder, because the truth is, it's these important questions that really turn how you think around and ask you to love. All right? All right, so I love you guys. If you need anything, tomorrow, beginning at 4 a.m., I'm at your service. Today, the only thing I'm doing is preparing a color seminar and practicing being blindfolded while I read your aura. That's what I'm going to do for fun today. I love you. Bye-bye, guys.